Meat City, baby.
Hello and welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here with another episode of Battle Bites here in World of Tanks. Yes, it has been a little bit of a break since my last video. I took a mini vacation from World of Tanks after the Fatherland operation. I've been kind of dipping in to get my weekend completions for the March Madness style event that's going on. Getting my one completion for these qualifying rounds and then getting back out because I needed a sabbatical after the disaster that was the Defender of the Fatherland operation. So it seems like people on my friends list have been doing the same. I haven't seen some platoon mates on in quite a while, so hopefully a little bit of a well-deserved rest here, and we'll get back into the swing of things very soon. And I'm also saving up to be able to go after that final weekend for the March Madness style event pretty hard as well. When we get some more details on that event and how that final matchup is going to work, I'm hoping it's not just a rehash of the Tank Bowl, where half the people are just left out in the cold, even if they put in a very high amount of effort. If they're on the wrong side, they're not going to be able to get the tank for free. I'm hoping Wargaming's made some adjustments from the last time, but it's been a very short amount of time between the two events, so I'm kind of not thinking that that's going to be the case. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get into the battle here. This is the A-43. It's a Russian Tier 6 medium tank that I have come to know and love. It is the one good thing that came out of the Fatherland operation is I got a ton of time to explore this line of tanks and this tank in particular, and it is fantastic. You may have seen it in the short surprise video where I got my Death from Above achievement, but other than that, this tank hasn't been featured on the channel, and I'm kind of new to it, but again, I got a lot of games in it during the Defender of the Fatherland event. There's two guns, top guns for this tank, a 57mm and a 76mm. I'll put the stats up. Basically, the 57mm has a little bit more DPM, just over 2200 damage per minute compared to the 76mm, which does just under 2100 damage per minute. But this is what the tank is all about. Knowing when to make an aggressive push and isolate an enemy tank on the other team. So I was looking at the map, I counted the enemy tanks that were out there, and I knew that if any support was there for that Japanese super heavy, it was going to be one, maybe two tanks. So I did a quick assassination run, ran out there, circled him, got some shots in, and got out. And that is the key to this tank. If you're in a tier 6 match, pretty much anything you're coming up against, you're going to overpower. And if you can even increase that advantage if you make the engagement. If you're the aggressive one, if you come in with speed, you can get there before the enemy knows you're there. They won't be able to get their gun turned on you until you get 2 to 3 shots into them. You'll have a huge advantage, and you'll be able to then use your DPM to outdo them. So we were able to get rid of the Japanese super heavy for our first kill, and now we've got a Hellcat that's out of position here. We were able to set him on fire, but unfortunately our last shot there was blocked by our friendly tank destroyer. No worries though, we're able to again use the mobility of the tank to pop out, put a couple of shots in, and remove the Hellcat for our second kill. And now we've got our Cromwell, the opposite number. These two tanks are very evenly matched, the A-43 and the Cromwell. I love them both. If you go toe-to-toe in either of those tanks with the other one, it's going to be an even trade. So keep an eye out for those tanks. But again, if you're the aggressor, I mean, in that case, I had friends helping, so it wasn't a fair fight. But if you're the aggressor, if you swoop in, you get the first 2-3 shots in, you're behind them, they're trying to turn their gun, they may panic and miss a bunch of shots, and that was a very clean engagement. 2 kills and assisted on a third, and none of our health is gone. So really quickly to touch on the gun choices again. So slightly higher damage per minute on the 57mm, way better accuracy, and the biggest thing is for me that I see is the penetration. The penetration drops fairly significantly on the 57mm, but for me it's worth it. What I really like to do with this tank is jump in and do an assassination, and having the little bit extra rapid fire really lets you do damage to another tank. If you're shooting at their rear, which you should be if you're ambushing properly, you may get that fire a little extra quicker. You may do damage to those modules of the crew a little bit faster, and that to me is worth it. The trade-off is the penetration, and so you have to be willing to spend a couple of premium rounds when the situation arises. So this, for example, I'm shooting at the front of a KV-85. We were down, I was coming back to the cap circle, so I had some premium rounds loaded, and I'm not going to go through the front of that tank with the regular rounds. Even I think if I was shooting perfectly at the lower plate, flush, without him angling at all, I still think I would probably be bouncing on that tank more often than not, given the natural slope that the armor has due to it, facing down towards the ground there. So you do need to carry a couple premium rounds if you go with the 57mm. Be willing to spend them, but I think it's well worth it. And the tank, you're going to make up for it with the damage you're doing. And the armor piercing rounds are great when you're circle strafing, when you're going up against anything other than a heavily armored tank. So we got a nice little situation here now. It's 3 tanks versus 3 tanks, and I see another opportunity here to run in. We know the KV-85 backed off, so it's just these two, the M6 and the Soviet tank destroyer, and they were distracted with my ally. So I come in from behind, get the first couple of shots in, aiming for the engine deck, and yes, we light the M6 on fire, and just rapid shots. He cannot keep up with our DPM, and then the Su-152 is on just a fraction of health, and we're able to help out our Churchill there and secure the 5th kill of the game. And we're having a really nice impact here. We were down as we were approaching the cap circle. I think we were down 2 tanks at one point, but through some nice play and some good help from our teammates, we were able to make a strong comeback and look like we've got a good situation here now. So again, use the mobility of the tank. I could take the shortcut, go around the flag side where our tank destroyer is, but why let the enemy tank, the KV-85, have a free shot at me? Instead, I swoop around. He would be facing to the front, and thankfully, our ally in the tank destroyer cleans up that kill, so we're not needed. But we were in a good position there if we would have been needed. So that's the A-43 in a nutshell. Use your mobility to put yourself into a position where you can flank and then attack quickly, strike an enemy, and then get back to safety, and then find another opportunity to do that. Early on in the battle, you have to be careful. You don't want to trade your hit points too early, because at the end of the game, you are just a force to be reckoned with. If there's a heavy tank a tier or 2 tiers higher than you, if it's you and him, and you can use your mobility, you can circle of death those guys, and maybe they're going to hit you once, maybe twice, but if you've got some hit points left, you'll be able to take it and really impact the game in a positive way for your team. So I had a ton of fun in this tank. I definitely had some of my best games of the operation in this tank. I've got 1 or 2 more really good replays that kind of show the highlights for this tank. Maybe I'll do a full tank review of it if you guys are interested in that. Please let me know in the comments below. Let me know what tank you were successful in with the Defender of the Fatherland operation. And we'll just quickly go through the post-battle stats here. We can see 5 kills, 2,021 damage for 22 penetrations. We did do some fire damage as well. We did a ton of module damage, and that was good enough for a first-class mastery badge. And again, we fired a number of premium rounds, not too many. We didn't go excessive with it, but we still made 26,000 profit, and it would have been a cool 10,000 even without a premium account. And so now switching over to the detailed team statistics, we can see that we had a really nice game there. 1,588 base XP, almost 1,600 base XP is really nice, and very good games as well from the KV-85 on our team, the Black Prince. Shout out to Reaper, Golem, and Veteran Crane. Really nice game from those guys as well, each doing just about 2,500 damage, so well played to them. We did have a couple of cleanup kills, so 5 kills, but we were certainly using the advantage of our teammates there to inflate that number a little bit. So thank you to my teammates. A really great game that we played a nice part in, and we can see that for the detailed statistics, 31 shots fired, 27 direct hits. So that's why I like the 57mm gun. You can fire on the move, it's more accurate, and again, we weren't doing anything crazy here. If you get crazy with it, you're going to miss shots, but you have plenty of ammunition, and we had 22 penetrations of the 27 hits. So again, 5 bounces, and that number is going to be higher using the 57mm than the 76. Again, you will need to supplement with some premium rounds and know when to use them on what targets and in what situation. So carry an appropriate amount for the amount of carrying that you're anticipating doing. You don't want to be left in a lurch going up against a tier 7 heavy tank and not having the penetration to get through it because you chose the smaller gun. So that's going to wrap up this one. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully you guys are recovering from the Defender of the Fatherland. I'm almost there. I think one more weekend of fun and limited tanks action, and I'll be ready to go again. So thank you for joining me. Feel free to subscribe to Meat City Gaming for your future content. Stay tuned for more details about the March Madness event, and I will see you next time.